Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review here on my channel, continuing on my Glencadam week. And today we're working into the Glencadam 18-year-old. So far I think we've done 4 videos into the Glencadam series. And if you have missed any of them, I'll leave them linked in the top corner and also at the end of the video. So next up we have the Glencadam 18-year-old, continuing on my Glencadam week. And this is an 18-year-old whiskey. It's bottled at an ABV of 46%. The full maturation for this whiskey, I've been told, is in bourbon casks. And in terms of the distillery itself, it is the Glencadam Distillery. They're owned by the parent company, Angus Dundee, and they're located in the Highland region of Scotland. Now, the price point on a full-size bottle of this one here in the UK is around about £84. And in terms of exclusivity, it's not exclusive as it's a core range bottling. And also, it's natural colour and non-chill filtered, just the way we like it. So, without further ado, let's begin by getting straight into the nose in this whiskey. Into the nose. So starting things out on the nose of the Glencadam 18, this is a little bit different from what we've seen in the past expressions from Glencadam. The nose is quite light, it's quite grassy, it's got a very different appeal about it. I'm getting that red pear coming through again, barley sugars, honeysuckle. And there's a slight sort of perfumery character which develops. I'm even thinking of cardamom, which is a very sort of different aromatic spice. A little bit of even apple sauce on this nose. And maybe a combination of summer fruits together in a fruit salad where it's really light, grassy, but at the same time really aromatic on the nose. This is fantastic. Very different from what you'd expect from a Highland whiskey. Let's get into the palate next. Slager. Arrival onto the palate next. You're greeted by a nice medium full texture. It's actually ever so slightly richer than the 17 Portwood and the 15. But in terms of actual flavour profiles now, you do get this spicier presence, and it's much more sort of, I'd say, more powerful spices. A white pepper spice. Then it develops and you get this sort of almost like a fennel seed, which you use in Indian cooking. And it is quite a hot one. You can actually even eat it just by itself. It's like easy, and it's something I think people use for digestion. But then from that, you then go into these apples, and it's like an apple tart where you've got all these different elements from the apple tart all playing together. You then move into this little bit of a licorice as it develops a slight bitterness. And for me, I'm finding it on the sides of the palate as it does get that little bitter character. Maybe even a slight malty note on this one. And definitely I'm getting that sort of salty, briny presence really coming through. I'm going to have a bit of a second sip, see what else I can find. But it's just finishing a bit too quickly for my liking. So from my second sip, the only thing I could sort of pick out to differentiate was sort of like a wood spice or an aromatic wood note, where it really just added a sort of a fragrant approach to it, but still getting a lot of those spices and definitely a lot more of that licorice coming through now on the second sip. So we're going to get into our final opinions on the finish, and I'll give you guys my rating. So into the finish. So finally, to conclude the Glencadam 18, the finish for this whiskey is kind of shorter than I'd like it to be. I'd say it's more along the lines of a short medium, as it doesn't really hold itself as much as I'd like it to. You do get a lot of these spices, these heat, sort of a wood spice, a little bit of that peppery heat spice coming through. That maltier note is much more pronounced now on the finish. And then you get into a slight, I'd say, more of a summery fruit salad, where you're getting these characters of almost like a honeydew melon and a combination of apple together in a fruit salad that's been sitting there for a little bit of time. And that quite sort of sends it on its way. And that's about it for the finish. So next up, my actual rating for this whiskey. And I'm going to give this one here an 84 out of 100. The reason behind that, I don't know if it was just me, but I was going into this one kind of with a really high expectation, and I wanted a lot more from this whiskey, especially because I've been really enjoying these Glencadam expressions, and the 18 just seems to be rather simple. It's what I'd say a simple 18-year-old whiskey, where it just doesn't sort of, I'd say, meet up to what I'd expect from it. However, if you do like something a bit more softer and maltier with a bit more spice presence, by all means, the Glencadam 18 is something different for you to try than your regular Highland whiskies, because most Highland distilleries, they're all different in their own respect. So on that note, I'm going to give it an 84 out of 100. In terms of value for money, I maybe think it might be a little bit higher than what it should be, but it's a bit of an interesting whiskey as well. So it's one to sort of explore around with. In terms of water at time, adding a little bit of water and then leaving this for at least 5 minutes brings out a different presence in this whiskey, and it brings out a much more aromatic. So I think this one actually just needs a little bit of water, in all honesty. If you are trying this one, give it a few drops of water, give it some time, and then go back to it, and you'll see it's a completely different whiskey, and that's something, maybe it just needed a bit more time. That's something that sometimes whiskey need, but they get bottled. So that's my opinion on the Glencadam 18. Let me know if you try this down below in the comment section. If you have enjoyed the video, by the way, feel free to drop it a thumbs up as it helps out the channel. Feel free to hit the subscribe button as if you're new to my channel so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos, and I'll leave some other Glencadam videos on screen. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas, and we'll catch you for the next video. Slàinte.